Hello everyone, it's DiegoDoom here. Today I'm bringing you another review. Today I'm finally reviewing X Plus Toho 30cm series Space Godzilla Diamond Reissue. Space Godzilla comes from the 1994 film Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla. After many encounters with Godzilla, the UNGCC, United Nations Godzilla Countermeasures Center, believes they have finally devised a way to destroy Godzilla. Unbeknown to everyone, within the far reaches of deep space, a sinister creature with traits of Godzilla and power that exceeds Godzilla is quickly approaching the Earth. Possibly formed from the G cells that were dispersed into space from the death of Biollante, sucked into a black hole causing a mutation, and then formed into a living creature from a white hole, Space Godzilla is born. Space Godzilla arrives on the Earth to destroy Godzilla and take over the planet. Faced with this new threat, the UNGCC must aid Godzilla as he battles one of his most powerful foes. Be sure to check out the 1994 film Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla. It is absolutely fantastic. To see another cool Space Godzilla review, check out my review of S.H.Monsterarts Space Godzilla by clicking the card on screen right now. Now I have to warn you, I sound like a completely different person in that review. X Plus Toho 30cm series Space Godzilla Diamond Reissue is another superb release in the Toho 30cm line. Space Godzilla has a superb sculpt and superb paint applications. Before we can enjoy our Space Godzilla figure, first we must attach the tail. Space Godzilla's tail comes in two long pieces. To attach, grab a hairdryer and heat up the end of the body tail segment until it's squishy soft, and then insert the end tail piece. Now, heat up Space Godzilla's underside and insert the tail. Now that we have Space Godzilla fully assembled, let's take a closer look. When it comes to sculpt and paint apps, Space Godzilla is superb. Starting from the top, we have the head. At the top of the head, we have the signature semi-translucent yellow-orange crown with a sharp textured sculpt. Space Godzilla's brow has a sharp scaly sculpt with a weathered dark blue paint app. The dark blue scales continue throughout the body. The eyes have a glossy crimson red paint app with black pupils and orange irises. The snout has a muscular sculpt with the scales continuing. The teeth have a nice semi-sharp sculpt with a weathered purplish blue paint app. The mandible spikes have a slightly lighter paint app than the teeth. The inner mouth has a nice fleshy sculpt with a dark bluish purple paint app. The chest has a slightly smoother scaly sculpt with a weathered dark crimson paint app. On the top of the shoulders, we have Space Godzilla's signature large crystals. The crystals are semi-translucent with a nice angular sculpt and a pearl paint app. At the base of the shoulders, we can see the various red cracks as the crystals break through the skin. The arms have a nice scaly muscular sculpt. The claws are semi-sharp with the same paint app as the mandible spikes. Moving down, we have Space Godzilla's massive gut with the same texture and paint apps as the chest. I really like how the sculpt has some depth here. There is a good amount of space between the front and the seemingly softer sculpt on the inside. The legs have a massive scaly muscular sculpt. Around the knees, we can see the scale pattern change. The scales on the knees are significantly smoother than the rest of the body. The feet are just as massive and scaly as the legs. The toenails have a nice semi-sharp sculpt and share the same paint apps as the mandible spikes and claws. Spin around to the back, we have Space Godzilla's dorsal fins. From the back of the head, the dorsal fins start off small and become massive as we reach the top of the back. The dorsal fins have a large, semi-translucent angular sculpt with a pearl paint app. As we reach the base of the dorsal fins, we have a weathered purple paint app. As we come down the back, the dorsal fins peak and become smaller as we reach the tail. The dorsal fins narrow down to 3 rows and then 2 rows once we get to the tail. The dorsal fins on the tail have a pearl white paint app with purple weathering. The tail itself has a massive scaly multi-segmented sculpt. At the very end of the tail, we have Space Godzilla's signature crystal spiked tip. The crystals on the tail tip have a nice sharp sculpt with a solid pearl paint app. For the pose, Space Godzilla is standing in a menacing ready for action pose. This pose looks fantastic from most angles. Space Godzilla stands roughly 14.5 inches tall and 18 inches head to tail. Without a doubt, Space Godzilla is a massive figure and a huge shelf hog. You're definitely going to have to clear out some serious space to fit him into your collection. Now, let's do some size comparisons with this big guy. As a whole, Space Godzilla is truly superb. The sculpt is spot on and the paint apps are perfectly executed. X Plus definitely spared no detail when creating this awesome figure. The only complaint I have about this figure is the use of translucent materials on the shoulders and dorsal fins. I really wish they were a solid pearl like the smaller dorsal fins. I understand why this is done though. It's because the Rick Boy version of this figure has a light up feature that illuminates the dorsal fins and crown. I'm sure it was more efficient to use the same body for the Rick Boy and Standard instead of having two versions with the Standard having solid dorsal fins and shoulder crystals. Very minor nitpick aside, this is truly an awesome and superb figure. I absolutely recommend picking this figure up. This has been another review by DiegoDoom. Thank you very much for watching and please stay tuned for more figure reviews. To see the unboxing of this figure or more X Plus reviews, click the links on screen right now. If you enjoy my content, check out my Patreon page. Your support would be greatly appreciated. Follow me on social media and remember, most of all, like, comment, share, and subscribe.